We keep hearing that one of the next productions to go into full swing for Marvel Studios and Disney when it relates to Marvel is, of course, the X-Men. We previously talked about the working title or the production title of the X-Men film, and now the production company behind it. So there's definitely a lot of movement happening in relation to this film, and this title might be an indication of what this means for the series going forward. So in a previous video, I already covered the fact that the production slate for X-Men started to ramp up. And well, when it came to the production of the film and the film's title, we know that it was in fact Chunnel. And that still stands firm and is exactly what it's called. Now, again, Chunnel, as I talked about in that specific video, is talking about the Chunnel, the underwater tunnel between mainland Europe, France, and the UK. But now we're talking about, as the X-Men reboot is picking up steam, the actual production company name that is associated with the film. So again, there's layers to this to try to throw people and paparazzi and just people off in general from getting to the set and hanging around, you know? So what's been discovered and now confirmed is that the production company that's attached to the upcoming X-Men reboot, and before people get confused, it's still a Disney production, it's still a Marvel Studios production, they're just spinning up a fake production company to be able to throw people off. So the production company that's in charge of the X-Men reboot is Atlas Hall Productions. Now, again, at face value, like Chunnel, well, what does this mean? But digging a little deeper into it, I think we start to see what's going on. So as most of you know, Avengers Doomsday, for example, has a production title of For All Time Productions, obviously referencing Loki and the TVA and so forth. But let's jump back to Atlas Hall, because this might be important in terms of what we're talking about and the bigger picture. Because first and foremost, the obvious one would be the Agents of Atlas, right? And they are a group of Marvel characters that typically come together under circumstances, but a lot of them are not, in fact, mutants in the comics. And Agents of Atlas typically has a more skewed roster of Asian members, so I think that automatically disqualifies it here. But the interesting one, if we look at the history of Marvel Comics, is that prior to becoming the Marvel Comics of today, and between starting off as Timely Comics, their name in the 1950s was Atlas Comics. And what's important about this is when that transitional period happened from Atlas to Marvel, there was the obvious jump in terms of how they presented the universe and the new ideas, and at the forefront of all the ideas moving forward was X-Men, to be sort of a linchpin of everything coming together and also spawn their own universe. Now, this could also relate to the fact that after Secret Wars, we're hearing that essentially what they're doing is just adding X-Men into Marvel's existing MCU continuity and sort of backdating it to the point where they possibly existed all along. So taking it all the way back to the post-World War II era and sort of retconning it in, they've been here the whole time, you just didn't see them because the old continuity, but now they're in. Here's the X-Men, here's mutants, here's a fresh start. Sort of like Atlas Comics evolved into Marvel, and then Marvel was a fresh start where they sort of abandoned a lot of the ideas. Hence why they had a new Captain America. Steve Rogers don't come back till way later. And stories and characters evolved, and this was the new age of Marvel, of innovation, new characters, new stories, new concepts. So there's a lot here that's sort of lining itself up with what they might be doing, and it's an interesting production title to say the least. So stay tuned, and when we know more, we'll definitely be talking about it, because whatever's going on with X-Men seems to be very interesting. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.